I found the first job in Dubai, you know what I was doing? They told me, hey, we want to penetrate into Russian speaking market. How do we do that? And that's how my marketing career started. And I was thinking, oh my God, I left my country to be somewhere else. And now trying to to bring me back. So I used to work in a corporate world. All I do just manage people, right? And it seemed to be easy. But once you leave that corporate world and you start working for yourself, you realize that as a business owner, you have to do sales, you have to do social media, you have to do website, you have to do accounting. It just the list on, and at the start, you cannot hire 10 or 15 people to do all these jobs. You do everything yourself. And that's that's how burnout happens. It's not easy. Many businesses and many business owners, they cannot even make it. I was studying project management at that time, and I was thinking, why do I even do that? I am not going to be an engineer or anything. And right now, I understand why I needed that skill, because project management now helps me to organize tasks, to manage people. And I really believe everything happens for a reason.
Vera Firman, thank you so much for joining us for our Leverage and Lead podcast. I really appreciate you taking the time.
Thank you so much for inviting me. I'm really would like to speak to you. I enjoy meeting you in person, and I'm so glad to be guest on your uh, podcast.
Yeah, I was just telling Marla, I was like, I don't honestly even know that much about Vera. I just know that I've met her a couple times and enjoyed the conversation. I just think you're so smart.
Thank you.
Obviously, you're talented. You spoke on stage at the Sasspreneur event. Was it Dubai that you spoke?
Yeah, it was in Dubai.
Yeah. So I thought, wow, what a great, and this is one of the things that we love the most about this podcast is having kind of the opportunity and the forum to get to know people in the high level space a little bit better. So would you, for the people who don't know you or just anyone watching, would you mind explaining a little bit about your business and who you serve?
Yeah, my journey is quite long. I help businesses to grow and scale. But this is not how it all started. I started a company based in Dubai nine years ago with my friend. It was really funny story. I was 8 months pregnant, just for redundant from my company. It was my also second pregnancy, and then the time was just to relax. But then my friend came to me and say, "Hey, let's do the business," and that's how it all started. And I like to help businesses to grow, scale, and automate just because I personally went through very hard journey where, when you start your business, you think you have a freedom and you have the time, but then we all ending up in trap and realizing that it's actually a 24/7 job, not 8 hours job like you do in the office. Hence why I think that's what kind of pushed me to do what I do. And I really enjoy helping businesses to strive to grow and not to burn out like I did many times.
Mhm. Can you talk a little bit about the burnout that you experienced? Because I know I've experienced, I'm sure Marla has, and everyone watching or listening. Talk a little bit about like what that felt like, where you were at in life in that position, and then how you kind of pushed through that.
Yeah. So I used to work in a corporate world, and I was quite senior in marketing department, and we had many people in place, designers, we have specialists. All I do just manage people, right? And it seemed to be easy. But once you leave that corporate world and you start working for yourself, you realize that as a business owner, you have to do sales, you have to do social media, you have to do website, you have to do accounting, and it just the list on, and at the start you cannot hire 10 or 15 people to do all these jobs. You do everything yourself. And that's that's how burnout happens, because you're basically multitasking, and it's not easy. many businesses and many business owners, they cannot even make it.
Yeah, I feel like even if the money's there, if you're working 20-hour days, that it's just not a sustainable practice.
Exactly, exactly. And money, like, you're not even happy. Like, you can generate a lot of money, but if you don't have time for yourself, you don't have time for traveling, there's no point. And I've been through that when, like, my family were getting upset with me because I don't have enough time to spend with kids, or because I don't sleep at night, and then I'm super grumpy the next day, and everybody in my family affected, just because, when you're tired, you're not happy. That means nobody in your family is happy. So I think this is a huge thing.
So when
Can,
did you decide to stop working in the corporate world? Like just go off on your own? What prompted that?
Yeah. Well, the company decided to shut the office where I was working. That was number one. Number two, I was about to have my second child. And I think that was a time when I thought, right, I have a young daughter and the second one is about to. And then how can I work 8 hours in an office without seeing my kids? At that time, I didn't know that actually starting your own business is going to be more working hours than I initially thought. But yes, that was a start. And I think the freedom of traveling, I love traveling. If you like follow me for some time, I'm just all over the places. And if I work for a corporate, there's no chance, right? I need to be my own boss, and I want to manage my time the way I wanted to.
so when you decided to go and start your own business, what was kind of the moment? Describe that to us so that we understand kind of that moment where you realized, okay, this isn't working. What did that look like? How did you decide I've got to automate, or I've got to change something? Like what did that position look like when you were going through that?
Oh, that was also a very, very long journey because I literally did every mistake I could. I tried like everything. um, the when you do services, first of all, one mistake I learned is that I try to do everything for everybody, and doesn't work. So it's hard to, you need to automate all the repetitive tasks so you don't do it over and over again. And I get so bored of doing same thing again and again. So that's why I feel like, right, this is the time. If I need to do it many times, anybody can repeat it, right? So at that time, uh, VAs or assistants were helping us, but we still had lots of tools that, then now we have one cool tool, which I keep teaching other business owners to use one tool instead of one zillions of tools. But I guess that will be another chapter to cover.
So let's talk about like why you decided to go with your own business as opposed to it. Was it just working from home and being available with your family and your kids, or was it also other parts? You said traveling.
Yeah, mainly to be with my kids. Also, I felt like the time was right. And again, when I, go back, I was thinking at some point, oh my God, I wish I knew it. I would just stay in a corporate world where all my holidays were paid, my sick leaves were paid. When you go home, you don't think about work anymore. You just switch. When you run your own business, you just cannot switch your brain. It's all 24/7. But I'm proud to say that I made success, and I am where, like, I achieve what I want to achieve, uh, just because of the automation, and I managed to delegate a lot. I guess right now I'm happy where I am. But if I would like to go back, probably no.
So what did it look what does your typical day look like? And you mentioned that you have kids. How are you structuring your day so that you can serve your clients and still be there for your kids as a mother?
Yeah, right now, I also learned a lesson where you need to think first about yourself before everybody else. And I learned it the way, when your health start telling you that this is cannot continue anymore the way it is, because when you work 24/7, your health start kind of giving you some signs. So right now my day looks like this. Like first, I go for exercise every morning. I do not start my work until probably 11 or 12. I work 4 hours a day, and then I have like school pickup, driving kids to tennis, to their activities. There is days when I have to do more work, but I try to be very. I never work on weekends, like Saturday, Sunday, no more. But in the past it was not like that. Right now I'm very good at planning my day. So I work 5 days a week, 4 hours a day, but weekends I do not. And I do travel a lot as well. So that's how it is right now.
I absolutely love the 4-hour workday. That's what I talk about all the time. Some people think it's impossible, but I do know that you have a brand on Instagram, and I think you have over 10,000 followers on Instagram. And then what's another? I think you have a lot on Facebook. Is it
I
Facebook?
think Instagram it dropped a little bit because I'm not so consistent.
Do you think that
but
that helps you a lot, like bring in new customers? Because I'm a firm believer that we all need to build a brand, because it's like sales that just continue to flow because your content is on the internet
Yeah,
everywhere.
yeah. I am a bit late on that. I've been in marketing for 15 years, and I just started working on my personal brand very recently, just because I feel like I didn't have enough confidence. I didn't have enough confidence of speaking. I didn't have enough confidence of, posting. I was always the person who go behind, like in the back end, helping to clients, but never go in the front end and speak. It took me some times to do that. And yes, definitely it's helping, because I also learned I cannot do any more one-on-one. I need to go and do one-to-many. That's why now there is more videos. I'm planning to do more, and yeah, definitely it's helping. And I always say to every business owner, if you're not online, if you don't have online presence today, you may be at risk of losing your business tomorrow.
So I love that you shared that about in the beginning it was maybe a little bit of a challenge to, break through those barriers of posting online. Can you speak a little bit more about that? What you felt like, and then also, how did you overcome that initial reluctance?
Yeah, to be honest, I spent lots of money. I worked with psychologists. I worked like on all my childhood, like where I was growing up, and I think the English is not my first language, as you can see. So I think that was like my biggest fear. Like I wasn't confident enough of doing that. So it took me a lot of time working with specialists and working on myself. I even had some courses how to speak on a TV. And what really, really helped me actually to break this all, once I start traveling to high level event, I think there was one guy, he did it as a joke. He said, "Oh, Vera, she is a very popular blogger." And I'm like, no, no, no. He did it as a joke, which was really funny. And I feel like speaking to all these people, seeing all these people, I feel like I gained my confidence. So it really helped. The community helped, I think, as well.
What do you think? Because usually if we're not confident, there's like fear behind that.
Yes.
What is the fear, you think?
Um, I think we always think something like what people would think about me, what relatives or people who know me would think about me. I think that's it. But also, I always follow this rule. If I fear of something, it means I have to do it, because otherwise growth is not happening. So there was so many obstacles and so many things I was scared. But I do it. I just do it anyways, just because I feel like that's the way. That's the only way to success. If you fear something, you just need to do it.
You know, when Matt DeCino told me I needed to create a podcast, I immediately said no. Immediately said no. And then I thought, okay, that means I have to do it now.
Yeah, that's right. And I also created my first YouTube channel just a year ago, right after high level event. I don't have many followers. I don't have that many viewers, likes, whatever, but I keep still doing it. So yeah, I feel like, yeah, it's really, if you want to do it, just do it. Do it anyway. I always advise to anybody, just do it anyway.
That's
That's
exactly
great
right.
advice. So let's go back if you don't mind. Tell us a
Sure.
little bit about you, Vera. Like, you know, you are not from the United States. Talk about your journey as a child and how that, you know, being from your country, what did that look like in terms of framing an entrepreneurial journey?
Yeah, actually, earlier this year, I was a co-author of the book where I was writing all my life stories since childhood. So basically, I am originally Russian, and I grew up in Ukraine. Now it's like complicated situation over there. And my family, I don't have anyone in my family in business. I have simple parents. I don't have rich parents or rich husband. And I always had the dream. First of all, I dreamed to live somewhere abroad because it was kind of hard to travel from, where I used to live. And my dream was, I was actually having these skills when I was little, when I was like, selling my smaller clothes to other people or selling books. And my first business I started, I think I was 24, and I decided to open shop for my mother because there was no jobs. So I opened like a small shop in a mall. And then a few years later, I realized, oh, the rent is too expensive to pay. Let's move online. And that was my first e-com business. So yeah, I feel like I always had that since I was young. And yeah, I think like I love doing that. And I also enjoy seeing other businesses growing. I see some startups. When we opened our first company in Dubai, we used to call ourselves Startup and Marketing. And till now, these companies exist. We have around 20 or 25 employees in office. Every time I travel there, I don't even know, there's always new people. And we were helping businesses to set up in UAE with licenses, visas, and marketing. And I really enjoy watching businesses growing. I really like to see how one person could start something and then it grows into something big. I love it. I think it's just my passion.
I love that you said that there were no jobs, so you created a job for yourself.
Yeah, because our city is a very small city. It's 100,000 population only. And when you're a woman after your 40s, it's really hard to find job. Everybody wants to hire only younger people. So yeah, it was a very small business, but it was kind of cool. And at that time, I still have Facebook page for my shop. I just keep it as a memory. And at that time, Facebook was just, at the beginning. There was no Instagram. There was no. It was very different way of marketing compared to now. Now we have all these free tools, all the possibilities, and it's kind of shame if you don't use it. And it's free. Most of them are free.
When did you decide that you needed to start incorporating social media into your business?
I did it from the start, from very beginning,
So
even
even
for
so I guess, I'm 46 and I remember a world without Facebook.
Me too.
So that's what I thought you were referring to, is like you just didn't do it for a while. And so I'm just curious, like what prompted, when did you
Yes.
decide like, okay, this is something that I have to do, that I have to go all in on?
Yes. At that time, it was Google advertising. But because my shop was back home from my country, at that they had in Russia it's totally different, right? We have Google. In Russia, it's called Yandex. We have Facebook. In Russia, it's another social media. So I managed to, learn from both platforms. They're very similar, but just different languages. And
Are
yeah,
they owned
and
by the same company?
sorry, no,
Are they
it's
like
totally different. It's
totally
totally
different?
different. Yeah,
Okay.
and some of the tools, again, I think I'm lucky because I see things, technology and everything from both languages, and I could see some of the tools back there so advanced. um, it's nice to compare, yeah. But I remember how when we started selling online at that time. Maybe you're familiar with something with the app called Groupon.
Mhm.
Mhm. Yeah.
Groupon, when you buy with discounts. That's
Yeah.
how we were driving sales. That was like our really good sales generator because at the time it just started.
Mhm.
Right. And there wasn't a lot, I remember it well, there wasn't a lot of competition to be able to get a sale out to the public. And so everybody went. I mean, didn't matter if you were a hair salon or a nail salon or getting your oil changed, there was a Groupon coupon for it.
Yes, yes. And because you're in US is always ahead of every country. Yeah. Over there, it was a little bit behind. So
Mm.
e-commerce back then, it was when 2009, it was just like a beginning. And at the time, I remember I used to buy goods from China, never saw it. And at that time, to register in a Chinese platform, you need to know, like, you need to have a local phone number. You need to understand a bit of Chinese. But I used to work in the office. We had Chinese people in there, so they were helping me to like register on the platform. And oh my God, it was a nightmare to communicate with Chinese people because their English is not good. So yeah, now it's all very easy. You just go to any platform. There's AI, Google Translations. It's easy. But at that time, it was like, wow,
People
lots of
don't
things
realize
to learn.
how hard things were before AI.
Oh yeah, I don't know how we actually lived without ChatGPT. Now I don't know.
I know. It's like it goes down for a day and we're all like, what do we do now?
Mm.
Exactly. It saves lots of time, to be honest. Like that's the main thing for me, saving lots of time with AI.
Oh, go ahead. Did you have a question, Marla?
No, I was just going to say, or ask, is there, so do you find yourself gravitating toward like businesses, stay-at-home moms, maybe people in other countries that are looking to do something similar to what you're doing? Like tell us who, kind of who you're serving right now.
We are serving any business owners, and I'm not niching down or anything. I tried in the past, but because when I start doing working on automations, I already have existing clients, and they're all from different spaces. So I know it's one of the hardest thing to do when you're not niching down because it's so many different. But at the end, they have same problems, and yeah, so we're not niching down. And I really love to help women, and I am even thinking with my lifestyle, I like to promote that it's possible to be anywhere in the world. It's possible to travel and still, generate money. There's nothing really impossible, and I've proven it. I've been traveling, I've been living in different countries, and all I did is working online. So I really like to help women. I like to help women in business and women who has kids. And I think that will be my next maybe chapter. I will even think to create community for women just to help them how to start generating some money, even though you're with child at home. That would be my probably next one. But so far we've been working with businesses and it's all different industries. We have businesses with 100 employees, we have businesses with 30 employees, and we have businesses who's been operating for 30 to 35 years and never used any automation, any CRM, any of these tools. And we're helping them to actually integrate it and build it so they can, operate smarter.
So Vera, I just we have to go back. Okay.
Sure.
Because I'm dying to know, because I have lived in the United States. I live in this like country town in Indiana. I've only been out of the country one time. So it was a mission trip to El Salvador in 2016, just in case anybody's wondering. That's the only time that I left the country. So take me back to Russia when you decided, okay, I need to, because where do you live now?
I live now in Portugal.
Okay. So tell me about like what prompted this change, because to me that seems like insane, like moving to a whole other country. I know you love to travel, but like what prompted the move? When was it like, okay, I'm out of here?
When you're younger, like right now I'm 40, but I was in my 20s when I just left. And I used to live in Dubai before. That's where I spent 15 years. And that's where I learned how to work in corporate world and learn business skills and stuff like that. Um, I am one of those who just do it. If I want something, I just do it. And you saying that you live in America and you never left America. And for me, before I had American dream, I always wanted to visit America because for me, we only seen like in movies, TVs, but it was, my dream to actually visit this country. So, and I just do it. And I highly recommend you to travel, and I highly recommend you to go visit Portugal. It's become very popular among Americans. I have lots of Americans neighbors now, just because people exploring the area is nice to visit, nice to live. So just do it.
But
Okay. I have, sorry.
okay, all right. Let me follow up, because
Yeah, go.
I have to know, like, the day that you decided to buy the ticket, like take me back to that day when you're like, was it an opportunity that led you? Was it a person? Was it like, what was the day when you bought your ticket and you're like, okay, I'm out of here. We're going to do something different.
When I was traveling, I had no clue even what I am doing, where I'm going, to be honest. But I am the person who never feel enough. Like I used to live in a small city, then I moved to a bigger city for university, and then I felt like, oh no, I want more. Then I moved to a bigger city, and then at some point I feel like, no, I want more. So I still remember how my English was really bad. And I was like sitting in the kitchen every day learning English. I had those, CD players, just because I knew when I travel, I need to learn English. So yeah, just I think there was an opportunity. Again, I was working for a company, and it was about to shut. And I felt like, right, I need to do something. And I had that opportunity, and I left. I was also studying in Dubai, and very interesting. I was studying project management at that time, and I was thinking, why do I even do that? I am not going to be an engineer or anything. And right now, I understand why I needed that skill, because project management now helps me to organize tasks, to manage people, and I really believe everything happens for a reason.
Mhm. So you were in Russia. You were in your 20s, is that right? In
Yeah,
Russia?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So what was it like being so I'm fascinated with other countries, and I haven't really come into I think the career that I have, having so much contact with international people now, it's really opened my eyes to really how for so long in the United States, we didn't really know a lot, or at least I didn't because I wasn't traveling, didn't know a lot about other countries and the people in them and the life experiences that they had. So, I mean, can you talk about what it was like, maybe the differences of, what your life was like in Russia, and then suddenly you're in Dubai, a completely different culture, and maybe kind of what did the adjustment period look like? So what was it like in Russia for you? And then what was it like when you went to Dubai?
Yeah, obviously, I was still a student, when I was too young student. Also, I think didn't think much like now, like overthinking. We just didn't think at all about what's gonna happen next. We were thinking more about presence. And what's really funny, when I was working, I found the first job in Dubai. You know what I was doing? They told me, hey, we want to penetrate into Russian speaking market. How do we do that? And that's how my marketing career started. And I was thinking, oh my God, I left my country to be somewhere else. And now trying to, to bring me back. And it's really interesting because again, when I started learning language and English, I learned business in English, and then it was so hard for me to go speak in Russian and business language because it's really hard. The language barrier is hard, but everything is manageable. You just need to really, if you want something, you just do it.
So can you talk a little bit about like the places that you've been able to travel? You said that you have this freedom so that you can travel. What are some of the coolest places that you've been?
Um, One of the coolest places I've been is, of course, US. I love New York, although I heard so many negative things about New York, but I haven't seen anything negative. I like South Africa. I've been like on the top of the Table Mountain, um, where I've been. Thailand. I've been there like for a month. I've been in the Middle East quite a lot, which is a very different world. It's like Saudi Arabia, Qatar, Syria, Egypt, all those places. I've been there before mass. Right now it's a bit messy, there's wars, but at the time when I've been, it was really good. um, that allowed me to learn a lot about different religions. I never knew anything about Muslim people, what they do. It was all totally different to me. um, yeah, and what else? Oh, Italy. My favorite is Italy. Like I love Italy so much. This year I've been there twice, and I think I'm gonna be there again soon. So yeah, Italy is like the biggest fun. And US again. I would like to explore more in US. I so far only been in New York and Dallas. That's my trip every year. But next year I actually wanna come with kids, and I
Well,
wanna bring my
you could come to
yes.
Indiana. I mean, we have lots of corn and
I never heard
more
anything
corn.
about Indiana actually, so I would like to know more.
There's a reason for that. We just
Yeah.
have corn. That's it.
Did
We're
Yeah.
actually just famous.
You won't be able to swing by Disney World.
I
It's
still
like
haven't been in Disney actually, so that's on my to-do list.
Yeah, the kids would love that.
so Vera,
Yeah,
tell me about like some advice that you would give to your past self, whether it's business or personal.
advice for me really is not spreading around. I am like all over the place. I like so many things at the same time. I am getting excited and I am jumping, like multitasking is my problem. Now that I'm getting a bit older and maybe wiser, you know, I structure it differently. But in the past, it's like all over the place, jumping. And also, one thing I learned is I wish I did it earlier. Like I could not say no to my customers. So, building the boundaries and saying no, that's a key. And this is something I couldn't do for a long time. I would just, be pleasing every customer and do extra and extra and extra. And at the end, most of them don't even thank you or don't appreciate it. And you think, oh, I'll do extra for this customer, then he will recommend me to another customer. And that's not the case. So I wish I'd done it earlier and sooner. And right now, yeah, whoever is starting or doing business, that's the first thing to do, is stop pleasing other people and start saying no and build boundaries.
It's so true. I think we've all experienced like scope creep and different things like that. Go ahead.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I think too with scope creep, when you actually do things outside of the scope of work, I've found that honestly it creates many times an entitlement scenario where the client then thinks that they're entitled to extra, and they will continue. The majority of them will continue pushing the boundaries to see how far they can go. And once you've let them cross the boundary, it becomes even more difficult to rein them back in. So I love that. That's great
Yes,
advice
that
there.
was my one of my burns out because of that. Because always try to do more, and then they take it for granted, and then they think this is the way it should be, or they think you work for them full time.
My husband and I had a lawn care business, and, in the springtime, he loved to get that edger out and just make all the lines so beautiful. And he would do this, spend the extra time, and that it was a whole other like piece of equipment, all the gas, all the stuff that was involved in that. He loved to do it. But I swear we would have customers upset that the second time he went, he didn't do that as well. And it's like, we just gave you this. So he had to literally, true story, had to stop doing that every spring because people would then expect that every single time. It just was like the worst thing he could have done, thinking that he was actually doing something really well. And I honestly, I would love for you to share like a specific story about an experience that you had with scope creep, because I think it's probably one of the things that are so like not talked about enough, but experienced by everyone. And it definitely causes burnout, like you said.
Yes, and again, as women, I feel like we are more emotional. And like I learn a lot from my husband as well. He's also a business owner, but he's obviously, man thinking is different, more structured, no, no funnying around, as I call it, and very bold. Yeah. And I remember some point, one of my clients, she called me like very late at night, and she was complaining. It was one of our first customers. And of course, you try to please your first customer. And she was so upset about one of my guys who were doing the job. And she wasn't happy and complaining and complaining. And I felt so upset. I couldn't sleep the whole night, I was thinking about it. And then I just messaged her, if you're not happy, just, okay, you can leave. You don't have to stay with us. And then the next morning, she actually called me and apologized and said she wasn't professional of doing that. But it cost me all night. Like I wasn't sleeping the whole night just because I was too emotional. Now I am already grown up, and I'm not so emotional anymore. I don't take it so close to my heart. Sometimes I still do, but yeah, we need to be a bit more bold and don't afraid, of course, or to lose our customers as well. If you're not happy with them, just let them go.
Mhm.
That's so true. I've had to let clients go before, and it's especially the first few, it can be a difficult scenario. Like exercising a muscle that you don't want to exercise. Like you think, gosh, I hate the thought of getting rid of a client, but if they are overstepping bounds, it's important to know that you have to do that. And after you've been in the business for a large number of years, you inevitably are going to have that. So I'm really glad this conversation came up.
Okay, excuse me, some people walking in the background just because I'm at the hotel right now in the lobby. So
Where are you now?
I'm in Portugal, but I like to come here to this beautiful hotel because it's nice setup, and that's where I do podcasts.
Well, Cool.
Hmm.
I saw that
Yeah.
you were like in a studio creating content.
Yeah, I do that. Usually I do it in Dubai. Like every time I travel to Dubai, I either invite some of my customers for a podcast or I just record by myself. I'm just started. So I started last year and yeah, I just rent a studio and do it in the studio. But need to organize something from home. Just need to be more professional in that and buy a proper camera. All my videos done on phone. All my like from apart from the studio, everything I do on my phone. I decided not to overthink and just start.
I think that's the mistake that a lot of people make when they first start creating content is they feel like everything needs to be perfect. You need to have the perfect camera, the perfect microphone, the perfect script. You need to have the perfect location. You need to have everything has to be perfect. And the most hilarious thing is people actually really love the imperfections. They
Yes, that's
really
right.
love it. Like I went live for 5 years on YouTube. 5 days a week for 5 years. I was literally live. So I made lots of mistakes. I would have days when like screens aren't loading or I remember I did a video one time with High Level. They came out with that little like button in the form where you can click to verify the email address.
Yeah.
So you have to enter the email address before that button shows up. Now, I tested this many times before I actually went live with the training, but here I press go live and I'm doing the training and the button's not there. I totally forgot you have to put the email in first. So I'm totally live in front of like 22,000 people. I wish I could say this was years ago, but it wasn't. Um, all these people. And I'm like, I literally have no idea what I'm doing wrong. I have no idea. It was a brand new feature, so nobody in the community could even answer the question. Then the funny thing is, I was so tempted to delete it. But then I got a comment from someone who was like, oh, you just have to enter the email first. But I love that you were just so honest and transparent about all of this. I absolutely love it and subscribed. And I thought, that's exactly how this works. I could create a perfect video. I could give you the secret sauce for an hour straight, completely perfect. But that 5-minute video that I screwed it all up, somebody commented and said, I love your
I
honestly.
love what you do. I like how you do videos every day you go live. I don't know how you find power to do that every day. It's still like, I want to do it at some point, but I feel like I still, we all learn a lot from you and I am fascinated how you do those videos every day. I feel like I don't think I could.
Well, thank you, but you could. And you know what? All the reasons that you said that you struggle to create content, it's the same reasons that I had why I went live. Because quick story about the first time I decided to go live. I was promoting a product, and I before I did any of this, I was still just an employee. I hadn't even thought about a business or whatever. But I was promote. It was network marketing. I was promoting a product. I shot the first video in my car, and I was just telling people, "Oh, this is why it's so great." And then I watched it, and I picked myself apart. I like if I had a friend like me in that day, in that moment, we would not be friends anymore because I was the meanest person to myself. So I deleted it. The next day, I did the same thing. I watched it. It was horrible. I counted all of my ums and okays and I deleted it. The next day, though, I decided I'm just going to record the video as if I'm live. Okay. So I just record the video and then I just posted it. I didn't even watch it. And I thought, oh my gosh, I'm going to walk into work and they're going to think I'm a total idiot. Like, I'm going to walk into work and I imagine those like movies where someone walks into like a school cafeteria and everybody turns around and points and laughs hysterically. I thought that was going to happen to me. So I go into work and no one said anything. It was like crickets. And I was like, whew, I got away with it. And then about an hour into my shift, someone says, "Oh, Bridget, I just saw that video that you put on Facebook." And I was like, "Oh my gosh, here it is. Here's the moment. Here is the moment I'm going to like die internally." And she said, "I absolutely loved that video. Can you tell me more about that product?" And I
Oh,
was
wow.
like,
Yeah.
"Oh, that's how it works." It was like a huge light bulb went off that it's like if I could have posted 3 videos that week, but instead I only did the one because I was obsessed with myself. I was obsessed with all of my imperfections, all the things that I don't do perfectly, as if we are any of us are human or any of us are perfect.
Yeah.
So I just it was such an eye opener for me that it's like, okay, I need to just create more live videos. I just need to be like my normal self, speaking like a normal person. And if I make mistakes, who cares?
Yeah, that's right. I also learned actually from you, from Americans, I learned a lot. And yeah, there is a saying, perfection is an enemy of done. And now I'm doing exactly same. There are some videos I don't like. There are some videos like I don't like how I look. And I have a video editor and I said to him, "Hey, put some filters. I don't like how my skin," like he posting some videos and then I don't like how my skin looks like. And I'm like, "Could you go and do something with my skin?" And then I feel like, you know what? Just leave it. I don't care.
And you know what, Vera, you're beautiful. Like you posted the
Thank
other
you.
day, like photos on Facebook, and I was like, I had to comment, like, this isn't even AI. You're just that beautiful. So it's like, it's kind of a message to everyone. If Vera can be insecure about how she looks, it's like we all have it, but it doesn't mean that we can't push through that and do
Yeah.
whatever it is that's going to help us reach our
Yeah,
goals.
you will not believe it, but confidence was my biggest issue since I was a child in a school. In a school, I would be so shy. Like, let's say if I don't understand teacher, I would be too shy and to go and ask to explain to me. That's how bad it was. I think it was a society where I was growing up. It was kind of, I think that's how we were all taught, don't show off, don't speak, don't be loud, all this stuff. And I think since I was a kid, that's was the confidence is a big thing. And I think just now, at the age of 40, I finally don't care anymore. But there was lots of work internally done to do that. It wasn't easy.
Vera, I love that you shared that because I was actually thinking before you shared it that I wanted to tell you, I think most Americans, we love accents, I mean, obviously if you can understand them, but like your accent is beautiful. And, we love, there's so many accents that we really think are very intriguing. And yours is one of them for sure. For me personally, I guess I can only speak for myself, but when you talk about being insecure, I don't know that if we all have insecurities, but one thing that I have noticed is that every single person that we've interviewed so far has had a level of insecurity that they have brought from their childhood. And I think that it's so important that we recognize and we start to speak about our insecurities. We've had people on the podcast that have been incredibly vulnerable and have shared deep insecurities and things that have happened in their past that have help mold them and help get them where they are today. And I know personally, I shared those same childhood insecurities that you did. If I didn't understand something, I would just quietly panic at school. I would never have thought to, I never wanted to raise my hand to,
Yeah,
for
same
someone
for
to
me.
know that I was, like I was the dumb kid because I needed, I didn't understand. And I mean, not that that was, I didn't make bad grades or anything, but if I, I just never would have wanted to draw attention to myself. And to your point, I grew up in a generation where we were not supposed to, it was like, don't be too bold, don't be too this, don't be too that,
Yeah,
you
exactly.
had to
That's what
had to
I was growing up with as well.
Yeah, and so I can completely relate to that because I think some of the way that your culture is was also imparted on my generation. So I can completely relate to that, and I think we're all coming across different at different times in our lives as entrepreneurs. We're embracing that. You know what? This is just me. But I think through sharing our vulnerabilities, we are helping other people get to know who we are at our core. And really, everybody wants to connect with people. You know, they want to understand who you are so that they can, follow you and follow your journey and feel closer to you, even if they aren't necessarily talking to you one on one. Would you agree? Or
Yes.
have you experienced
Yes,
that?
yes, I actually heard many people already told me. There are some friends who are growing up with me and who still live where I grew up. And some of the friends actually moved now to Portugal and stay here. We grew up together and now they moved here, which is really interesting. And some of them keep telling me, "Oh, Vera, I'm following you and I'm so fascinated how you are without fear traveling, doing this and that." Of course, I had fear, of course, but I just wanted to do it. But yeah, I did hear a couple of comments that I either motivate someone to travel or motivate someone to do same. So yeah, if you have, if your gut's telling you something, you have to do it. Otherwise, you don't feel complete inside. That's how I feel. And I think, yeah, being an example for others, hopefully to motivate others to do what we do. For example, I get motivated when I see what Bridget does. I feel like, oh, I love what she does. She goes online teaching. And I wasn't still doing that for like, I have a community of business owners and I still wasn't like, didn't organize any videos to do together. And I'm thinking, right, I need to start doing that too. To help more businesses to do what we do.
I think that's really, it's almost like you're compelled once you figure out like how you do it, how you actually build the life that you are envisioning for yourself. Once you figure out like the recipe to that, it's like you almost feel compelled to share it with other people. And that's definitely how I was with my local business. I was like, oh, I figured out how to create a form. I figured out how to create a website. It's like all of these things I just had to share with people because I thought there has to be people like me who are just trying to run their business. But it was like I was working full time, trying to run this business on the side. And I think there's so many of us in that situation. That was really what compelled me to start creating the videos. So I think it's like you, Vera, you have so much knowledge and everything to share. It's like wouldn't it be just unfortunate to not share that with other
Yeah.
people?
Yeah, I still not where I want to be. I'll be honest with you. Yeah, it looks very successful from outside, but I still not where I want to be. And I also know, yes, I have all this knowledge, but I'm still figuring out how do I bring it out. I am still not there. I'm still figuring out how do I help more. How do I bring it all out? And sometimes I feel like my knowledge is bothering me. When it's stuck inside, you feel like, right, how do you get it off you? How do you get it off your chest?
So have you given any consideration to, and maybe you do this, but and I just don't know, but I can see where niching in helping other women, especially in other countries who are potentially looking to, whether it's moms or people that are looking to travel, like digital nomads, I can really see where people would love to understand what you do and how they could do it too.
Yeah, that's also something I'm thinking about. And yeah, I'm still pretty busy with existing stuff, but yeah, definitely this is in my head and maybe in my to-do list. I already work with some women, not from different countries, but I am a part of Leadership Global Community. And lots of them already using high level, but they have no clue, like they really need help. And when I organize webinars, or I always provide them freebies or guides to video tutorials, and I keep hearing really good comments. So I just need to do it more, and yeah, probably find more time to do
Well,
that.
there's I mean, I'm sure that you already know this, but for maybe other people who don't know, there's a huge digital nomad community that of, all different types of Facebook groups that
Yeah,
are targeted people that either are traveling in other countries or want to travel in other countries. And I know that, so many people want to travel, but don't necessarily have a, remote employment or remote entrepreneurial benefit career. They don't have their own digital business. So it seems like a kind of a natural thing that you would share, like, look, this is what I'm doing to make it work, and you can do it too, because there's so many people that aspire to it.
yeah. I probably need to start something like this. Need to do more videos. I'm still
Yeah, day
starting.
in the life
I
videos.
every Yeah, live videos. By the way, I'm doing videos, but I never did live.
Yeah,
So
day in the life of digital
I
nomad.
haven't done live yet.
You know what's great about live though is you can pump out some massive videos
Mhm.
in a day's time, honestly. Even if you did little shorts, like just go live and it's the video's there. You didn't have to like think too much about it. You just go live as a normal person. That's why I did it, honestly. I was like, it takes too long to create a video, edit the video, do all this stuff and then post the video. So it's way too much. I found myself not doing it nearly enough. And I just thought, okay, well, Monday through Friday at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I'm going to be live and I'm just going to continue doing the live trainings. And if I mess up, oh well. But you know what I learned is that when you mess up, it's it's so valuable because troubleshooting is something that a lot of people struggle with, especially like in high level or any type of software, because they watch a tutorial video, they go to set something up, and then they run into problems and they don't know how to solve them. And when you are doing a live training and you run into problems, it gives them the confidence to say, oh, okay, well, Vera had the problem too, so I must not be an idiot. It's just a normal problem.
Mm.
But then also they can see how you fix the problem. And then, so when they're alone and have the problem, there's a video of you saying, oh, and when you have this problem, here's how you resolve it.
Yeah, that's really good advice. Actually, it's interesting. Before this podcast, I was actually sitting and writing down what would be my next episodes. And they're very much related to what we just talked about.
So, Vera, before we go today, do you have anything that you think people would be surprised to learn about you? Would you like to share?
Um, my dream job was when I was like a teenager, I would say. I wanted to be like in a beauty industry, to be a hairdresser, makeup stylist, all that stuff. So I went to a college and I studied for 3 years to be a hairdresser, and I only lasted for a year on that job. At the time, I realized, oh, that's not a lot of money. I cannot make a good income out of that. So I decided to
And
stop
it's a
it.
lot more work than people realize.
Yeah, exactly. But I think one of those skills were useful when it was COVID and my husband couldn't go to anywhere to cut his hair. So somehow I just started doing it, and now he refused to go to hairdressing. And every month I have to cut my husband's hair.
You you
Just-
you got yourself an extra job, huh?
yeah, I sometimes say to him, "Hey, can I give you money? Just go." He's like, "No, I don't want anybody touch my hair."
I've cut my husband's hair before too, but it's the same haircut every single time. It's like I put the clippers on one or two or whatever, and then it's all the same. So you just did such a great job. That's why now he's coming back you for life for haircuts. Well, Vera, thank you so
Yeah.
much for joining us today. I really appreciate you taking the time, and I hope that people get to learn more about you in a whole new light. And I hope that they follow you on Instagram and your new YouTube channel. Would you like to shout out your Instagram and YouTube?
Yeah, sure, sure. Also, I would like to share with you the link. I was invited to be a co-author of the book, which called Leadership Unveiled. It's designed for women. I only wrote one chapter about my journey, but the book was sold on Amazon and we become a bestseller internationally, just because there were so many international writers. And right now, I have the opportunity to offer this book for free. So I can just provide the link, and anybody can just download it and read our entrepreneur's journey. There's my chapter and chapter of other women who's been through some struggles and become successful in their businesses. And I think there could be valuable lessons from that
Cool.
book.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah.
We'll put that in the show notes for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah, for sure. Well, thank you so much, Vera. I really appreciate your time.
Thank you for invite. I'm looking forward to see you again next year at the
Yes, for
summit.
sure.
Yeah. See you there, Vera.
Bye.
Thanks for being here.
Okay, see you.
Bye.
Bye.
Wow, Vera was great. One thing that really struck me about the conversation with her was the fact that she is from another country, and that one of the things that holds her back, as well as so many people, is our own insecurities. Our, even from a young child, she had those, and I think that really resonates with people, to understand that we all have insecurities, we all have fears, and it at the end of the day, it's about pushing past those fears. And I would love to see her mentor people that are from other countries and looking to have that same success level of success that she's experiencing. I just feel like she could be such an incredible mentor.
And it's also kind of shocking to hear that someone so beautiful has insecurities and fears about not being perfect. And it's like, it just confirms and like just instills the whole idea that like we're never going to be perfect. It doesn't matter how beautiful or smart you are. It's like even the smartest, most beautiful person can have those insecurities. And I just think if Vera can have them, I think everybody can have them, and find within themselves the ability to push through that. Because also think about what it takes for someone who's insecure to leave their country and just start over, and not just one country but multiple countries. Like think about, like, to be, are you really insecure if you are so confident in yourself to take on these big risks and obviously do them well?
Mm-hmm.
So is that real insecurity?
Yeah. I mean, we take for granted that, being from the United States, literally growing up in the land of opportunity where you can do anything, but not everyone has perhaps those same cultural reinforcements, that says that you can do anything, right? But gosh, she persevered, and she has really chartered her own path outside of Russia and into Dubai, of all places. Who would have thought that that would have been a transition that would have propelled her to where she is now and being in Portugal? Wow.
Yeah, I
Great.
think of all the excuses that we make for ourselves, if other people have bigger excuses than we do, it kind of makes it to where we have no excuse. It's like
Right.
if other people can push through these things, and we can push through our own junk, and we can reach our goals too.
Completely. I
Yeah.
love it. Great interview.
Yeah.
Thanks, Bridget.
Thank you so much, Marla. And thank you, everyone, for joining us for today's episode of Leverage and Lead. See you next time.
See
Bye.
ya.
New episodes are added weekly. Make sure to subscribe and visit our website if you'd like to receive our newsletter or apply to be a guest at leverageandlead.com.